All right. Hi, and welcome to Chit Chat with Autumn. I am your host, Autumn Short, and I'm doing a really special show today. I am doing this live, and I have Maggie Thorne, who is Mrs. Great Plains International 2014, live with me. She is at the Mrs. International pageant, getting ready to start her week off. So please welcome Maggie to the show. Thank you, Maggie, for joining me this morning. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you, Autumn, so much for the opportunity.
Oh, I was absolutely thrilled that you were willing to do this with me because this is something, a lot of people like to stay in contact with contestants when they're at the national pageant. So this is very exciting. So I was reading over your website last night and I am very inspired. You are a very inspiring person. And so a couple of questions. Tell me about your platform, Souls for Souls. So tell me a little bit about your platform.
Oh, thank you so much for asking. Well, Souls for Souls, they're in 127 countries, and their main mission is just to wear out poverty through the simple gift of used shoes. So I get to travel across the globe as their international spokesperson and build national partnerships, do international shoe distributions, and give shoes and give love. So you'll probably see that a lot as I talk or through my social media, and that's because when we go and distribute shoes, we get to kneel at the feet of the people we're giving them to, wash their feet, look into their eyes and tell them, you matter. And I love that part of it, because when's the last time someone knelt at your feet and told you, hey, I love you, you're so important. And so that's where the give love part comes in. We get to interact with them and play with them, and it's an amazing experience.
I think that is so wonderful because there are so many different organizations that are actually out there um, that do different things, and you sometimes wonder, is what I'm giving actually going to somebody, or is this kind of just like a ploy or something like that? So to actually hear the stories that you go out and that you give them the shoes, and it's an international um, platform. It's an international. It's not just here in the United States. You get to travel kind of all over to do this, but you do also go within the United States, and you do help. I'm going to say maybe inner city children who don't have much, which is huge for being. You're taking care of not only your own United States, but you're also going out to other countries as well. So
Absolutely.
on your website, I also read that you did not grow up easy. You had a hard life growing up, and that would just reading your story, I thought, oh my gosh, how did she make it from day to day? Because that is something just about brought tears to my eyes, just thinking somebody having to go through as much as you went through. But you turned to track as kind of like an outlet, and you ended up placing 11th at a national competition. And you also did some boxing and stuff like that. You're a tough girl. I don't know if I'd ever even want to mess with you out on the street. We'll just try to stay on good sides. So what kept you going? How did you stay motivated? Because you accomplished quite a bit for going through so much.
You know what? Thank you for reading this story. I truly appreciate it. I mean, that's one of the big reasons I want to get out there and do all the avenues that I'm doing, is so people know that they can overcome obstacles in life. And that's kind of fun, being an obstacle racer. But after growing up through my childhood, going through a multi-family home, living in a low-income area, and then just through a lot of difficult circumstances, I actually didn't think I could get out of it. And at one point in my life, I just thought, man, I'm just going to give up. I can't do this. It's too hard. And then one day, I just started trying. And then I tried again. And I tried again. And I thought, you know what? This is possible. I just can't be scared anymore, because I was so scared of failure. I was scared of what people thought. I was scared of everything. And it's just where you tell yourself you can't, but then one day you tell yourself, I can, and you can, and we can. And it becomes this never give up. And that's, you'll know, kind of my tagline, never give up. So no matter what I'm involved with or what I get to do, just never give up when it gets hard, when your day's hard, your morning's hard. Don't give up, because there's always a better side to it. And so it's really motivated me. And then through life's additional life circumstances, losing my brother and my best friend to suicide, those were tremendously impactful times in my life. standing next to the coffin of my best friend, I made a commitment right there that I was never going to miss out on loving anybody ever again. And it's my driving force. It's when I'm out there and we're doing a shoe distribution in Haiti, and it's hot and you're sweating buckets and you're in this small room with thousands of children washing their feet, and it becomes not hard because there's such an opportunity to love someone that you can't miss out on it. And every day I try to figure out a way to have people feel loved. And then through boxing, I mean, that was just, it was fun for a while and something I kind of did after track to stay competitive. Ended up won a state championship, which was kind of random. But for me, sports, it really taught me how to compete every day and take life seriously every day. And I've brought that into my career. I've brought it into pageants, and it really showed me how to show up and be ready and be prepared and give it your best. And when I show up on that stage Saturday night, I don't want to have 1 ounce of energy left. I don't want to have any stone unturned, because it's important. It's too important to me to not be able to continue this journey with Souls for Souls. I've seen what's possible. We began to build partnerships with NFL teams, our international partnerships with Souls for Souls. There's just so much that can be accomplished. And just that whole life's journey. It's not just looking at 1 year of preparing as Mrs. Great Plains International. This is 20 years of preparation for me.
So did you, question about Souls for Souls really fast, going back to that. Were you one of the founders of Souls for Souls, or how did you become a spokesperson, an international spokesperson for them?
I was not one of the founders. The founder is actually Wayne Elsey. It was founded in 2006, and it was born out of natural disaster relief. But I got in contact with them last year because running, it's very important. I love to be healthy. I think it's very important for families to be healthy. And I wanted to kind of take that next step and say, I want my running to have a purpose now, because I've won state championships, I've competed for national titles, but that's all just stuff that I'm going to walk away with. Where's the impact in that? And so being able to be a highly competitive athlete at an elite level, it needed to have a purpose. And I went to their headquarters, I met with them, and I said, you know what, here's my skill set. I've worked with sustainability. I've built a nationally successful sustainable program. I work with collegiate markets. I work in the sports marketing industry. And it just, both of us saw the partnership that it could become to help benefit Souls for Souls and get the word out. There's 300 million children in the world without shoes. What are we going to do about it? And that's every day. I'm trying to figure out ways to bring visibility, to bring them a victory, and then use my vastity, my network of resources. I've been at Nebraska, which Nebraska, if you don't know what the Huskers, it's a very, very supportive network. It's a worldwide network. And that's what I'm really counting on as an alumni, with our professional athletes, with Olympians, with celebrities across the globe. Larry the Cable Guy is one of our supporters. And so being able to foster those relationships for the better, because at the end of the day, those medals, they're all going to go to my basement. But what if we can live on the page in someone's heart for the rest of their life, for their future generations, to give somebody a chance? Like, won't we all want a chance? And I've gotten some second chances. This is my second chance right now. And so, what are we going to do about that? And that's what I look forward to.
I love that. I absolutely love it. You're so easy to talk to. You're so inspiring. You make me want to smile, so I think that's great. I also saw you have a top 10 on your website, and one of them was you ran a 10-hour, it was at a race, a 10-hour race for the 10th anniversary of American Heart Association, Go Red for Women. So did you run a full 10 hours?
Well, I think technically it was like 9 hours and 40 minutes, but that's because they wanted me back at the news station early. So I co-chair our American Heart Association Lincoln Go Red for Women Passion Committee. And as I've mentioned, it's very important for me, for my family. My husband has heart disease that's affected his family, and we said, what can we do to be effective in this area? Because there's a lot of families who say, we don't have the time, I don't know how to do this. And I think our family, probably more than anybody, we are like, there's no excuses. Like, you can do this. And I want moms to know they can do this. You can work, you can be a mom, you can be an effective part of your community. It's possible, and you can be healthy. And so we were talking about it with the executive director of American Heart for Lincoln. I was like, I really want to do something for you guys. Like, I want people to know heart disease is the #1 killer of women, and how can we do this? And I was like, you know what? I competed at World's Toughest Mudder. I ran for 25 hours. 10 hours should be like a piece of cakewalk. And so talked about it, and then they contacted the local media, and they said, hey, our co-chair of our passion committee is thinking about doing this. Everybody in the community got on board, and they said, yep, we'll do it. The local news team said, we want to follow you. So they followed me throughout the day. I was driving, and it's snowy, and it's icy, and I've got a newsman driving next to me, talking to me, and I'm like, hey. So I ended up I ran 41 miles. My goal was 45, but I ran 41, and it was about 20-degree weather. But you know what? It was worth it, because I ran into so many people, and they're like, you're the girl I saw on the news. You ran for 10 hours. You're crazy.
You said how, you ran for 10 hours would be a piece of cake, and I'm sitting there going, if I could run for like about 5 minutes straight, that would be a huge goal for me. So kudos for you for running, because that's something that, unless your body is trained to do that, that is not an easy task at all.
Yeah, they did actually. They made sure when I did my interview, they said, please warn people, because I know this is kind of abnormal. Everybody can't run for 10 hours. And when I actually got back to the news station, they had these like big cinnamon rolls waiting for me. And I had been running for so long, I just actually wasn't hungry. It might sound weird, but they're like, here's your cinnamon roll. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. Thank you. So I gave it to them.
I love it. I love it. So I'm going to skip to number 7 on your list, because you placed second place at the world's toughest Mudder race. What is a Mudder race?
Okay, a Mudder race, it's an obstacle race. And for me, it's a constant metaphor of life, of being able to overcome obstacles. Because with Souls for Souls, that's what we're trying to do. Every single day, help kids in poverty, families in poverty, overcome the obstacles to have a greater chance. And so I love the fact that I get to go live this out through racing and be like, you know what, when I show up and I talk to someone, I'm walking through this with you. I am right there by your side. And so we jump walls, there's electrical shock, you crawl under barbed wire, there's fire, freezing water. So World's Toughest Mudder, it's a 24-hour straight race, and you basically have to do as many laps as you can in that time period. And I ended up, thankfully and gratefully, getting second place. But Souls for Souls, before I went, they told me, if it gets hard, just think about kids who don't have shoes. Think about the bare feet. Think about the pain that they go through every day of not having shoes. And it motivated me. You're out there at 3 a.m., nobody's around you, and you feel like your knees are broken. I had a wetsuit on, and you don't exactly stop to get to go to the bathroom. I mean, you smell and you hurt, but it goes away, and you just are able to push on and push forward, and everybody has that choice. So I chose to keep going, and everybody can choose to keep going in life, no matter what obstacle they face.
You are extremely determined. You're a very determined person, and you don't give up. You just keep going and fighting through no matter how tough it is. And some of these things here, it's very clear that that's what you do, and that's almost like normal for you. And wow, what something to see a woman who has children, who also works, to be able to do this. What a motivation for myself. That is absolutely huge. So I really want to talk about your support system, which is I'm guessing your family, your husband and your kids. Tell me a little bit about them and what they think about all this stuff that you do, the 10 hours, the World's Toughest Mudder. Tell me, how are they your support system, and what role do they play with all of this?
My support system is probably one of the best in the world, and I know everybody would say that. I truly mean it from the bottom of my heart. From my mom and dad in San Diego to my husband, my kids. I mean, my son, if I'm running out the door, he's like, "Oh, mommy, your zipper," and he's, zip me up. My daughter, when I'm getting ready for an event, they'll come with me. When I go and talk to 75 kids, and I watch my daughter get up on stage, and she's like, "Can I talk with you today?" And that, for me, it's the moments, it's that process that is so special. Because if we focus just on the finish line, we're going to miss out. And so that's one of my favorite parts of it, is watching us grow as a family in our community nationally, watching us grow. My husband, he's a fantastic leader for our home, and he prays for me. He just walks alongside me, supports me in every way possible. As I was getting ready to go here, he was helping me take pictures of my wardrobe to send them. I've been working with Chelsea Cooley and AT Dunn from Tone to Win, and he helps me take my pictures, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? I think you need to turn this way. That's a better side." And I'm like, "You are awesome." The only thing I said, "Hey, will you help me curl my hair?" He's like, "I draw the line there." He's like, "Well,
great. I love it."
Well, mostly because he's like, "I think I'd ruin it." Like, he's afraid he'd fry my hair. So they're amazing, and I've watched my kids grow as givers. We were out last Christmas, and they saw a man on the side of the road, and my son said, "Mommy, can I use my allowance to buy him hot chocolate?" And I was like, "Yes, you can." And that's what I want my kids to become. What are the odds they're going to become sports stars? Very low. What's the odds they're going to become a parent, a father, a wife, a husband? Those odds are great, and I want them to be the best they can at those in life, above and beyond anything else. So we try very hard every day to model that for them. And some days we're not the best, but most days, we try as hard as we can to love them, because that's our legacy.
I love it. I love that you are planting seeds in our next generation and in your children, and making sure that they have the morals and the values that many people lack in today's society, and that's so important for future generations. And I think that it's wonderful that you are giving your children the opportunity to have those. So Maggie, I want to say thank you for being on the show with me today. It was great chatting with you. I think you're absolutely wonderful, and I want to wish you the best of luck at Mrs. International. So thank you so much for taking time this morning to talk with me.
Well, thank you, Adam, so much, and I appreciate it. And if anybody wants to know more about Souls for Souls, they can go on www.soulsforsouls.org or MaggieThorne.com, and it's Maggie with no E. So thank you very much.
I love it. And as I go through and edit this video for those who weren't watching live, I will actually have that website on there as well. So thank you so much, and you have a great week.
You too. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks. Bye-bye.